and gentlemen, to the second session of today. Dr. Israr Ahmed covered two very important dimensions of our corporate collective life, the political and economic.
Surah An-Nisa, the fourth surah. الرجال قوامون على النساء بما فضل الله بعضهم على بعض وبما أنفقوا من أموالهم فالصالحات قانتات حافظات للغيب بما حفظ الله صدق الله العظيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Dear brothers and sisters from Adam and Eve, may Allah bless both of them, and may Allah bless us all. The topic of this session, as the brother has said, is a very burning issue, a very controversial issue. And I very well know that what I am going to say will not be easily palatable to most of you brothers and sisters. To the Western mind and the modern civilization, these things are very alien. But I want to start on the social system of Islam with the equality of all human beings that the Quran has stressed. No one is high, no one is low by birth. There can be high and low on the basis of acquired characters. If you are more virtuous, you are higher level. If you are not so, you belong to a level, lower level. If you have attained great knowledge, you are at a higher level. If you are ignorant, you are at a lower level. But these are the acquired characters. By birth, nobody is higher, nobody is lower. None is superior, none is inferior. I have quoted ayah number 13 of the 49th, this chapter or surah of Quran, Al-Hujurat. It translates like this. Ya ayyuhan nas, O mankind, inna khalaqnakum, we have created you all, min zakarin wa unsa, from one male and one female. You are all the progeny of Adam and Eve. وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ شُعُوبًا وَقَبَائِلًا. Then we divided you into nations and tribes. لِتَعَارَفُوا, only so that you may be recognized. Who is he? From which part of the world is he? This is only for recognition. Nothing high, nothing low. إِنَّ أَكْرَمَكُمْ إِنْدَ اللَّهِ أَتْقَاكُمْ. The more respectable amongst you are those who are the most God-fearing, who have the maximum regard for God in their hearts. And Allah is Alim and Khabir. He knows everything. He sees your hearts, not what you say, but what you have in your heart. He knows it. So this equality of humanity, it covers all human beings, males and females, any nation, any color, any creed. Humanity will remain there. This is the basis of human brotherhood. Now this equality, human equality, is that thing which even H.G. Wells has testified and said it was the biggest achievement of Muhammad. And I said even, he criticizes him severely, but in his concise history of the world, when he reaches the last part, last chapter on Muhammad, he quotes from the last sermon, the sermon of the last pilgrimage, the departing pilgrimage. There he said, La fazla li Arabiyyin ala Ajamiyyin. There is no superiority of any Arab over any non-Arab. Wala li Ajamiyyin ala Arabiyyin. Nor the non-Arabs have any superiority over the Arabs. Wala ahmara ala aswada. Also red and white people, they are not superior to the blacks. Wala aswada ala ahmara. And also vice versa. The blacks have no superiority over the whites. Illa bit taqwa. Superiority or inferiority will be based on taqwa. How much regard one has for Allah. How much he fears for the great and grand accountability of the Day of Judgment, and keeps himself within the limits of the Sharia, not transgressing the Sharia. So, at this point, H.G. Wells wrote, I am quoting, I think, maybe some word might be changed, otherwise I remember it fully. Although the sermons of human equality, fraternity, and freedom were said before also, and we find a lot of such sermons in Jesus of Nazareth. But it must be admitted that it was Muhammad who, for the first time in human history, established a society based on these principles. And this is the biggest testimony, coming not from any friend, but from the foe. His enemy, he criticized him bitterly, badly, with a very bad taste, just like Salman Rushdie and Taslima Nasreen of Bangladesh, in the same way. But here he has to bow down. But please note, this passage has been deleted in the recent edition of H.G. Wells' Concise History of the World. The present editors couldn't swallow it. But you will have to refer to some older edition from libraries to find this. And I have cautioned you because maybe if you go and open the book and you don't find this passage, you may think that I have lied to you. So you have to go to the former edition. So now this is, I think, the biggest achievement of Islam. This applies to even women and men. By birth, men are not superior to women. Women are not inferior to men. They share human dignity, human respect, human honor, absolutely equal. The moral field is open to both of them. They can go to the heights of morality. The spiritual field open to both equally. You can go. If there was Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani of Baghdad, a saint, very renowned saint, you must have heard about him. We had Rabia Basriya from Basra. Again, at the height of that spirituality. And let me point out here that the Prophet said, if a person has reared two daughters, educated them, and then got them married, his seat in paradise is reserved. He didn't say this for the sons, it's for the daughters. And you may recall that in that Arabian society, these daughters were so much disliked. In their infancy, they were buried alive. But Islam gave this honor. In the same way, you have to respect your parents. But the rights of mother are 3 times greater than the father. Again 3, but doctor is not here, Mumtaz. 3 times. One of the companions asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who among the people deserves my service most? He replied, your mother. He asked again, and after her? Again, your mother. For the 3rd time after her, your mother. When he asked for the 4th time, then he said, your father. So this is the dignity that Islam has given to women. As about at the religious level, their equality. Let me quote one ayah from the 3rd chapter. It is 195 ayah. In the previous ayah or verse, there is a prayer, very long prayer of the believers to Allah. They are praying. I don't mention that. But in this ayah, 195, Allah says, فَاسْتَجَابَ لَهُمْ رَبُّهُمْ. Their Lord accepted and granted their prayer. أَنِّي لَا أُضِيعُ عَمَلَ عَامِلٍ مِّنْكُمْ. That I am not going to let any good deed of yours go in waste. Min zakarin aw unsa, whether you are a male or a female. Ba'dukum min ba'd. You are from each other. From the same father, you have the son and the daughter. The womb of the same mother has gave birth to the daughter and the son. There can be no difference, no superiority, no inferiority altogether. Now, if you keep in mind what was the status of women before Islam, in most of the countries, nearly the whole of the world, among Hinduism, among Christianity, they were thought to be evil in nature. They don't have spirits in them. Only males have the spirits. And so on. And the condition of women in India among Hindus was the worst. But Islam raised the status of women. Islam gave them a legal personality. You are a legal person. You can own property. You can do business. You cannot be married without consent. Full legal person. Your parents can arrange for your marriage, but with your consent, not without your consent. So now I come to the 3rd point. The most important feature of Islamic society is the strength of the family system, the institution of family. As an institution, it must be strong. And this is in direct contrast to the modern civilization or the conditions generally in the West. This institution has been more or less destroyed. Now, what are the dimensions? First of all, respect for the parents, serving the parents. At 5 places in Quran, Allah has mentioned the rights of parents just after His own rights. وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ. Your Lord has decided that you will not worship or obey anyone else than Him. وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. And He has ordained upon you service, respect, good treatment with your parents. This is one example. إِمَّا يَبْلُغَنَّ عِنْدَكَ الْكِبَرَ إِحْدَاهُمَا أَوْ كِلَاهُمَا فَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفٍّ. If any one of these parents or both reach old age with you, never say even oh to them. Although obedience is not necessary, if they command you something contrary to the Sharia of Allah, no obedience. Obedience is for those who ask you to follow the Sharia. But service, good behavior, keeping your shoulders down before them, not like this, no. You should keep your shoulders more down before them. وَخْفِضْ لَهُمَا جَنَاحَ الذُّلِّ مِنَ الرَّحْمَةِ. So this relationship, on this basis in our society, parents invest themselves fully in their offsprings. They don't try to keep something for their old age, because they have the surety that as we are looking after them, now they will be looking after us when we are old. This is the tradition. Not to put them in old houses so that they can't even meet the sons or the daughters, longing to see the son or daughter. You can keep them at your home because your privacy, you may say it, your independence is limited by their presence over there. No. This family system, firstborn, parents and the offsprings. Now among the offsprings, brotherhood between brothers and sisters. Quran says there is a relation of womb, rahim, uterus. You are brothers, you are bound by the uterus of your mothers. Try to consolidate it. Strengthen this brotherhood between the brothers and the sisters. Number 3, marriage. It is here that men and women are not equal. When a woman and a man, they enter into an agreement of marriage, living together, to start a family, the husband is the head of the family. There can be no institution without a head, one head. You can't have two at the top. If you have more than one, there will be chaos. You can have only one managing director of a firm, not two. But you can have directors, maybe 10, 20, but managing director has to be one. So it is not based on gender, the superiority or inferiority. No. It is the organization. All human beings are equal, but the officer and the peon, are they equal? A minister sitting in his office, and there might be someone standing at the door, at the gate. Are they equal? Are the generals and the general soldiers equal? This is a question of administration, organization. Here, women have to accept the authority of men. Authority. That is why I quoted the ayah 32 from the 4th surah. الرِّجَالُ قَوَّامُونَ عَلَى النِّسَاءِ. Men are rulers over women. Why? بِمَا فَضَّلَ اللَّهُ بَعْضَهُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ. Because Allah has given some more than the other. The physical strength, that He has given more to men. وَبِمَا أَنْفَقُوا مِنْ أَمْوَالِهِمْ. And due to what they spend from their wealth. When they enter into the agreement of marriage, the dower money is paid by the husband, would-be husband. Although marriage is a requirement for women also, just as it is a requirement for men. But he has to pay and she accepts. So here, and then Islam puts no responsibility of maintaining the family on women or mother. All economic responsibilities, financial responsibilities, they are on the shoulders of men. بِمَا فَضَّلَ اللَّهُ بَعْضَهُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ وَبِمَا أَنْفَقُوا مِنْ أَمْوَالِهِمْ. فَالصَّالِحَاتُ قَانِتَاتٌ. So, the good women, virtuous women, they are obedient to their husbands. First, obedience to God and His messenger. That's the basis of religion. But here in the institution of family, wife has to obey the husband. If by any argument or by any appeal she can get something accepted by the husband, it's okay. But if the husband is insisting on something which is not forbidden by Allah, if it is forbidden by Allah, no obedience. لَا طَاعَةَ لِمَخْلُوقٍ فِي مَعْصِيَةِ الْخَالِقِ. There is no obedience for any creation, any man, any institution, anything in the affairs where there is disobedience for Allah. لَا طَاعَةَ لِمَخْلُوقٍ فِي مَعْصِيَةِ الْخَالِقِ. But if it is mubah, it is halal, it is permissible, you have a difference of opinion. Wife has her own opinion, the husband has his own opinion. Now if the wife can, by appeal or by argument, if she can make the husband agreeable to her point of view, it's okay. But otherwise, she will have to obey. And let me quote here, I was very much impressed when I read in an interview of Sarah Ferguson, when she was going to be married to Prince Andrew. She said, I am not that timid type of woman. I am not going to say I will obey him. I came to know this is something necessary for a Christian marriage. I was delighted. The light is from the same source. In our marriage, a woman doesn't say these words. But the teaching of the Quran is the same. You have to obey. And she must have said that I will obey him when she was being married in the Westminster Abbey. Anyhow, for the strengthening of this family, I have told you one dimension, parent-offspring relationship. Second dimension, the brotherhood among brothers and sisters. Thirdly, a strong bond between the spouses. One dimension I have mentioned, that wife has to obey. The second dimension, Strong bond of love is required. And adultery, fornication, what to speak of rape, absolutely forbidden. The whole attraction of the sexes, which is natural. You know that Freud has said that this is the most potent motive, the sex. And it is definitely very potent, no doubt. Not the most potent, but it is potent. And there is the danger of anarchy, illicit relationships, illegitimate relationships, without any marriage bond. So Islam, the objective is to eradicate zina, to eradicate fornication, to eradicate adultery. But this is such an issue that Quran has not said, don't commit zina, don't commit adultery. Quran said, don't go even near zina. Keep away from it. Keep at a distance. Now, what are those distances that Islam has suggested? Number one, the society has to be segregated. No intermixing of the sexes. Lest this attraction comes into play and there is some foul play. Islamic society is segregated, absolutely segregated. Different teaching institutions, schools, colleges, different universities, segregated hospitals. Hospital for women, women are the patient, women are the doctors, women are the nurses. Men's hospital, men as patients, men as doctors, men should be the nurses over here, not female. And what happens in the hospitals is of common knowledge. We know that in the military, no medical units go to the front line with female nurses. All the nurses who go to the front line, they are male. So hospitals should be there, but they be segregated. Segregation of sexes is the fundamental principle of Muslim society. Number two, covering of the body, especially the sex organs and the organs or parts of the body of women which are attractive to men. This we call satr. Satr means to cover. For men, the satr which has been prescribed is from above the umbilicus to below the knees. If this much is covered, the purpose of the Sharia is fulfilled. You may have additional dress, you may have pants and coat and shirts, okay. But that part of body cannot be exposed except for the wives or the surgeon or doctor when there is need. These parts have to be covered. And for women, whole of the body is to be covered, except the face only, and the hands only, and the feet only. It must be covered. And in addition to that, the body will be uncovered only for the husband or for the physician or surgeon. It has to be covered. Additionally, especially their bosoms and their chests. They should have an additional covering. And then there is the instruction that a woman's dress should not be very transparent type of dress. Should not be very tight, so that the body curves become apparent. The Prophet said, "La'an Allahul Qasiyatin Ariyatin." Allah has cursed those women who, although they are dressed, they are naked. The dress is so fine that it is revealing the body, or it is so tight that it is making prominent the curves of the body. But for this bosom or the chest, additional cover, the headscarf has to be worn in this way, that this is an additional covering for the chest. These are the commandments of the Sharia. Now comes the veil. This is necessary when a woman has to meet or see someone who is non-mahram. Now, who is mahram? Please note. The relations with which a woman can never be married, in any case, they are mahrams. Father, brother, nephew, her own nephew. They are mahram. Not her husband's nephew. Her own brother, not her husband's brother. If the husband dies, she can marry the brother of the husband. Mahram are only those with whom a woman can never be married. And there's a list, full list given in Quran, in Surah An-Nur. All the other males are na-mahram. They are not mahrams, non-mahrams. And before them, in front of them, a Muslim woman will come covering their faces also. This is my opinion, but there is a difference of opinion on this subject among the legal experts in Islam. But I am giving you my opinion. Why? If we think about the reason why these restrictions, just contrary to what is happening in West, men fully dressed and women half naked. It's just the reverse of what Islam says. And what is the reason? I told you. To put obstructions in the way of zina, illegitimate sexual relationship, obstruction. Don't have those conditions where you find chances for this. So these obstructions have to be far and wide. And these are the obstructions. Then I told you what is the aim? Strengthening the family. If a male has seen some female, some woman, very pretty, very attractive, and now he is thinking about her, what's the result? The bond of love between him and his wife is weakened. Family becomes loose. Islam wants a strong family. The attraction the both sexes have for each other should be focused on the spouses only. That's all. The stronger this bond of love, the stronger is the family. And healthier are the environment for the upbringing of the children. A children being brought up in an environment where father and mother are in deep love, they have deep regard for each other. They have mutual confidence for each other. These are the positive environments for the upbringing of the children. and where there is distrust and they don't love each other. But note, Islam allows a divorce. If you are not compatible with each other, somehow you can't go together. Don't keep on quarreling and fighting and fighting and quarreling. You can separate. But husband has the authority to divorce. Wife does not have the authority to divorce. She can get divorce through the agency of a court or the elders of the family. Not direct. As I told you, in this institution of family, men and women are not equal, not equal. I admit it plainly. So now there can be an objection to it regarding the economic conditions of the society. Do you want that your women folk shouldn't work? Shouldn't help in the economy of the country? No, they can work. Number one, they can teach in the schools, colleges, universities. But female schools, girls' colleges, a separate university for women, as today we have in Tehran under the name of Fatima Zahra University, exclusively women. Then they can be doctors, they can be nurses, but in the women's hospitals. Then there we can develop cottage industry. Women working at their homes, they have not to go out. No spending of their time. No need of any makeup to go out. They can work at their homes. Cottage industries. Then we can have special industrial units where only women should work and only women should supervise. Then the whole primary education can be given to women. Children below the age of 10, okay. There can be co-education and give it to the women. Don't hire any man as teacher at that level. You can use your women workforce, but only if you have the real intention to obey Allah and His Messenger and abide by the Sharia. What has happened in West, the destruction of family. Clinton said in his New Year's message, I think 2 years before, very soon the majority of our nation would be bastards. He didn't use this word. He said born without any wedlock. This is the society. And this is the testimony of the President of America. And this family life, it has deteriorated and been destroyed to an extent. Now Bush says marriage, 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 marriage. The males are not ready to marry. Why? The family laws, they are very unnatural. As soon as you divorce your wife, half of your property, everything goes to her. Why should I marry? We are living together, we are not married. Living together, children are being born without any wedlock. The biggest problem is incest. Among the medicine, which are mostly used, are for the mental illnesses. And I was told by psychiatrists that the biggest cause of these mental illnesses is incest. it gives you a guilty conscience, and that guilty conscience develops. Abortion. Now Bush is saying, no, there should be some restriction to abortion. Because the society is going. But when the Pope visited, there was a demonstration by women against him because he is in favor of ban on abortion. You know, the Beijing +5 conference held under the United Nations Organization, General Assembly, social engineering. But that social engineering is in the direction to destroy this family structure at all. A prostitute has to be respected. She is a sex worker. Why do you say something wrong about her? Someone is using his muscles to earn money. Someone is using and selling his faculties, brain. She is using a part of her body. Why do you object? Homosexuality, just going against nature, destroying nature. And now homosexual marriage is recognized. A man is a husband, a man is a wife. A woman is a husband and a woman is a wife. This is the depth to which the social structure and the social system of the West has gone down. It has to be restructured. It has to be re-engineered, but on the lines that I have put before you. And this is the Islamic social system and the status of women in Islam. Thank you very much for the attention that you have paid.